Okay, we are live, and I want to thank both my guests for joining me. Today is a girls' chat with my sister Ari and one of my closest friends in the world, Paulette Harlem, and out of London. And Ari is in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So we're in three different parts of the world, and these are the people that I turn to when I feel unsafe. And so today I wanted to share a bit of the conversation with you. Um, so I want to talk today what it sounds like to ask for help. It's a living conversation about courage, healing, and becoming told in real time without masks. It's going to be hosted by me and my co-host Ari and Paulette, and we may have another guest joining us soon. This show explores the moments most people never say out loud, the questions we whisper to God, the pauses between breakdown and breakthrough, and the strength it takes to admit we don't have it all figured out. Through personal stories, life lessons, faith-led reflections, and global perspective, this series becomes documents of what it looks like to rebuild from the inside out. Emotionally, spiritually, and practically, it's about leadership with humility, self-love without shame, and learning how to receive support while still standing in your power. This is a space for people rebuilding their lives or businesses, leaders who carry more than they show, givers who need permission to receive, anyone learning to ask and trust again. This conversation and these conversations here are honest, sometimes quiet, sometimes raw, and will always be rooted in purpose. They remind us that asking for help is not a weakness, it's wisdom. If you believe growth happens in community, helping happens in truth. The legacy is built by living out loud. This if your legacy is about building out loud, this show is for you. Let me just breathe because this is my first show like this, and I'm getting used to speaking out loud and standing in my truth again. And so bear with me. But nevertheless, this is about conversation. It's not a listen to me speak. These are the ladies that when I felt triggered, that I felt the call to ask for help. This is who I call. And so, first and foremost, I want to say thank you to both of you because on multiple occasions, in many different situations, you guys have guided me. Oh my God, I can't even talk. You guys have guided me through some of my like dark hours, and even when it wasn't a guide, sometimes you guys just like held my hand. And I never want you to not think that I don't see that. And more than anything, I just want you to know um, how special actually you both make me feel at times. And so I want to say thank you.
We love you.
Bless your heart.
Thank
You
you.
know, you should just know that that's what friends are for.
Yep.
And everybody will have somebody. And even when you don't think you have anybody, there's always somebody. And sometimes you wonder why or how that person turns up, but they do, and they will. And that's what you have to be prepared to look for. So I believe that everybody's in the right place at the right time for that reason. So
Definitely. I think
that's
everybody
what I
also needs
say.
to remember that, and I want you to remember specifically, Kim, like you deserve to have community. I think sometimes we can go through stuff that'll make us feel like we don't deserve anything good, but you absolutely deserve everything good and then some.
Thank you. Hold on. I am texting Judy. Okay. I cannot do more than two things. Well, I can do more than two things at one time at times, but not talking and writing. They just like get to running together. Um, but thanks. And the thing is, you guys also made me realize what I didn't have. Like I wasn't used to this. And so I'm learning, and I've been learning how to trust again through this process, because it's not something that I'm used to having. Like, I have a sister, but I'm not used to having a sister in a healthy form of relationship like you. And I'm used to having friends, but I'm not used to having friends that don't need me like Paulette. And so it's like everything is different, but yeah, I really have, and I'm learning to accept it. Um, I was having a conversation with Ari earlier today, and I was explaining to her that, okay, wait, I just, I added Judy in and my mind went blank. um, I was just, Ari, do you remember what it was I was telling you? Judy, and I was telling you, turn your camera off. I'm doing it with the cameras off, like the audio room. Thank you.
You just was talking about what we were talking about earlier. Take a deep breath.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't remember what I was gonna say, but I know what I was supposed to be talking about. So that's where I'm gonna go, because I'm freestyling this show. I didn't really plan it out. In the future, I probably will do very specific questions, and I do have some things that I want to get into, but I figured that I'll start with how we got here, because I was so this is the first time that I actively caught and saw my own transformation in the middle of a trigger. And it was that, like, I had a situation where a door was simply not locked, and I immediately felt unsafe based off from a bunch of different reasons. And it took me a little less than a day to realize that I was having a trauma response, but you guys, had recognized it. And so I specifically thought it was that one thing would lead to a perfect opportunity to have a conversation on what it sounds like to ask for help, as well as what it's like to create safe environments and how we get to these places in the first place, and maybe questions to ask or things to look for. Do that make sense to y'all?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Okay, because I want this to be a conversation. I don't want to have it all figured out. I just want to talk to my girls, basically. And so we're here in this virtual lounge I created until I can get us all in one space. So that we just begin to have these open, awkward conversations. And what better to start a safe community than talking about a safe space and how it's created, because I don't want a world that's just about my own perspective. I value the perspective of others. And sometimes it could be too much. But the thing is, when it comes to building community, it's not about one perspective. I'm really looking to build something that will help people get out of their own way, in any culture, in any place of the world. And I know that this is something that a lot of people can relate to. So I'm going to open it up and just go down my screen that I see. And Ari, I'm going to grab my notebook and give you the mic. If you have anything you want to add to introduce yourself, because I introduced everybody from a personal level. And Judy Ann is who's came to the stage. That is my friend Judy Ann, and she's from Jamaica, but she's in Abu Dhabi. And so I threw both of them out there because she represents for both of my friends that are in Jamaica and UAE.
I don't really have too much to add. My name is Ari. Kim is my sister. I love her and everything about her. And I am here just as like us, just standing here, I guess, figuratively, in the sense that like we can have relationships and conversation, even if we all have different points of view, and it doesn't have to be weird. Like it doesn't have to be weird. So that's kind of where the space I'm coming from. I own levels of freedom. However, that's not what this is. This is Ari showing up for her sister. So it's not about my business today. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I love you.
Well, I'll add the other thing that makes it special for me. So since I gotta go there, fine. Ari is not just my sister. Ari is also my nurse, my my telephone nurse, and um, I wanted you here because I need to figure out how to do the advanced directive thing, and I want to have a conversation about that because I'm looking to move abroad. And so, in a situation that people will be freaking out about my medical, if I can't freak out about it myself, then you're probably the next best person to have the knowledge and the connection to make rational decisions.
Okay.
And so, you're also a fantastic nurse. Let's not leave that title out.
Well, thank you. All the glory to the Lord. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Where you want to start?
So to you, I want to ask. So let's go down the road, and we'll do like a 2-minute thing where, what does it mean? Okay, no. What do I want to ask you? Okay, this time, because I felt like this time when I reached out to people and asked for help, it sounded different. And you all told me that you could tell something was different. How did you know that this time was different? That's what I want to know. Because I've called you before and asked like little questions before, but this time was different.
I think it comes with like a knowing, like you know the people that you're close to, and so like I know what your voice sounds like, and maybe some of it is a occupational thing too, because as a nurse you are trained to notice everything, how people sound, how they talk, their tone, what they're not saying, their nonverbals, their verbal, like you're trained to like pay attention to it all. But with like I love you, so like the way I hear you is very specific, and so I know like a lot of times I can pick up in someone's voice. I feel like everybody could if they chose to, but that's a whole other conversation. But just I could hear it. Like you just sounded different to me. And it made me go, okay, I need to show up in this conversation differently because I can hear that my sister is in a different space right now. So I need to listen and be supportive and figure out, allow her to talk. And like, maybe we need to talk through it, and not try to like answer everything, but maybe allow her to just come to her own conclusion, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so, Paulette, I have the same question for you.
Yeah, interesting. I guess we've been through a lot, and I've never really heard fear before. I've heard lots of emotions. I've heard anger and mad and anger and depression. I've heard sadness. I've heard the thought that, you know, that people have forgotten you and things like those kinds of thoughts. But I'd never heard fear. And the trauma response was fear. And whether that was the therapist, whether that was your friend, whatever I am in whatever guise, I just knew something was different. And the voice was different, you were different, the thought process was one of you're in trouble. And you know, I would have dropped anything. I would have, if Cinderella was going to the ball, I wouldn't have gone to the ball because it was too important to not talk to you. The way that you came over was crisis mode. And I've only heard that a few times from people who I know as friends as well as patients. But you, as a friend, to hear it, it's 10 times worse because you're my friend. So I'm used to hearing it from people I work with, but when it's your friend, it sort of it hurts. It hurts me as much as it hurts you to hear that fear, that pain. And it's an open wound. And when it's an open wound, as the nurse would say, it needs treating immediately. And that is the truth. That is the only way to deal with it. And the way you treat it as in a therapy perspective is to use the wait technique, which is why am I talking? So I just sit back and I listen. I make soothing noises. I make noises that you know that I'm paying attention, but you've just got the freedom to speak your truth. Tell me how you're feeling and get it all out on the table. And then after you've finished, we can go back in and digest it all. But up until that point, it's just the table's yours. And that I think is the most important message that we can give to anybody. If somebody comes to you wanting to talk, that means they want you to listen. They don't want to hear your perspective. They don't want to hear, oh, I had that happen to me, or I know that, or I know somebody else. It's not about that at that stage. It's about letting that person speak their truth, tell the situation how it is, and then digest it and make decisions afterwards. But the first part of that conversation is allowing you to talk and allowing somebody, whoever it is, to just let it all out. And if that means crying, that means crying. Who cares? Have a cry. Male, female, I don't mind. I don't care. If you need to cry, you cry. Crying is a release. Nothing wrong with crying. And it's difficult to always understand when someone's crying, but it doesn't matter because the most important thing is that you have got it all out. Because once you've done that, that release is so much easier to then go back in and say, why do you think it happened? What was the reasoning behind it all? What was the trigger? What caused it? So that's my bit. Thank you.
No, I appreciate that. And so I do want to fill in some gaps because um, one of the reasons that talking to you matter to me outside of being my friend is that I know you are amazing business strategist and you never like to talk about it. But I know that that's something that's important to me. And so always value your feedback. And I know that you are a counselor and I understand your parenting style. And so it makes it easy to decipher things. Like it's easy to make what you say make sense by me knowing your background, the way my brain works. It helps. I battle with less because of what I know. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Because I'm like super logical. Uh, and then I called Judy in as well, but of course it was like midnight there, and I like forced her off the phone and made you go back to sleep. And so you're not aware of this part of the conversation, Judy Ann. So
Mm,
when I called you the other night, I was like panicking and freaking out really bad.
mm. And hi everyone. It,
Hi.
Introduce
um,
yourself.
I am Judy Ann, and I have met Coach K online, and I think about two and a half years ago, and I think now is going on three. This year is going on three, and I really connected. Then I was a teaching and learning lead for the school, and at this moment I'm an education consultant and I'm a writer, and I think I'll go back to just reflect on the question of how do you know when someone needs help, or what was different. And a very good question and a very important one, because as we interact with just everyone whom we're in close attachment to, whether it may be our families or friends, I just notice a change in behavior. I think there are some signs to look forward to look at, or signs to look for. And just for someone reaching out to help, and I think when I spoke with Coach K the last time, I noticed like a change in just behavior, in terms of a little, could be not distracted, but a lot of interest, and just withdrawing from some things, So I think being online, whether it may be being online, or just being available text wise, and being distracted, being loss of interest of some things um, that they normally enjoy, or just stop spending time. And I know online is something that, especially on LinkedIn or even on the phone, is something that Coach K really excel at. At least the others of us on the other line just enjoy it, and I think that would probably link it with changes in communication. And so I was thinking, the last time we spoke, you know, it is so important just to reach out these notes, and it was different that I realized that we would be on the road all day today from the past 3 weeks. But I said, even for a half an hour, 15 minutes, when anyone who is close to us asks for help, it's time, as Paulette says, to just stop. And stop means listen and being present. I was talking to one of my friends in the state who had the most tragic loss that I can't permit to say, but she's experienced great loss, the greatest loss that you have ever, and on it, she is grappling with so many things attached at the moment. And she said to me, I was asking, how was Thanksgiving? And she said, I stayed home. And I said, stayed home. You stayed home with the kids on Thanksgiving. And I was asking a few option of if anyone came over XYZ, and she said to me, I've always remember what you said, that loving others mean we pray for them or we call them, but it also means showing up. And she said to me, as I was asking, as she was reminding me of that quote, and she said to me, this person who is very selfless, never gives, never asks for much. She said, I'd like somebody to show up for me. I'd like a body. I think that's what she said. I love the prayers and I like the thoughts, but I'd like somebody to show up for me. And so it's just a message. It's a very forceful message for just me and like anyone listening, is that um our calls are sometimes they're okay, and maybe a call is an action, but like our prayers or a note. But sometimes it takes showing up, and showing up means different things for different people based on where they are. And so uh changes in routine, changes in communication, those are ways that are normally signs. And it's good to just check in. And as I think one of my eloquent sisters already said, sometimes we don't have the answers to fix things, but we need to let those we care for know that we care. And you haven't seemed like yourself today. I'm here when you need me. And so those are just a few of just the telltale signs, and just a reminder to myself about what being present, and as my friend told me, showing up means. And Coach K is one of the person who will always show up, and that's how I met her. She shows up with her knowledge. She shares without inhibition. And so those are just the lesson learned, because as sisters, there's so much to learn. And myself, I'm still learning, just to show up, and show up authentically, but not show up how I think to show up, but how the other person needs me to show up. And so if it's a meeting, that's showing up. The showing up, I must, whether we have to batten down roof, or we have to go across the emirate, and that's it. So thank you. I yield the mic.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing that, all of you guys, because like, it was everything that everybody said, number one. But it's like, I wanted you, the outside perspective, shared, because I don't think that people look at the obvious enough. Um, and it made me think about the number of people that I know who's lost children, because like the suicide rates are really up. And for a while I was depressed and didn't know it. And then I did know it, and I didn't know what to do about it, or what not to do about it, or whatever. Um, and I think I had just kept compiling things, and hoping it would get better, and thinking that I could just figure it out, and not wanting to ask for help more than anything. Uh, and I found it to be necessary to put something like this out, because I know I'm not the only one. I logged onto my Facebook yesterday, and I saw someone that once told me that my travel inspired them, post online, what do you do for your seasonal depression? And I was just like, wow, this is really what's going around. And so it got me to thinking, because like I said, the thing that was a trigger for me was, my friend walked out the door. We had a disagreement, but it wasn't like anything horrible. In fact, it was probably one of the milder ones. It was just literally the fact that he didn't lock the door. And when I saw the image of the door, and I'm always waiting, I always unconsciously watch it lock. And that for me is like a safety thing, that you making sure I'm safe because it's locked. It's locked. It hit a couple of triggers, but these things have been unfolding prior to. It's just so many things unfolding prior to this, because when I listen to you guys tell me what you saw, when I reached out to you guys, I called you all because I'm like, I need an exit strategy. That's the first thing that went through my head. I'm like, I need an exit strategy. And the thing that was different for me is, Paulette pointed it out the other day. I used the word unsafe. That's not a word that I just throw out. And so, but when I felt unsafe, that was the word. That was exactly how I was feeling. And so when I was started getting down to the root cause of it, I realized what it was, and some things that had transpired when I was younger. And it made me do a couple of things. It made me reflect back over my life. It made me think about a friend of mine a couple of days before that's like a teacher in Chicago, and she called and she said, Zoe, are you in an okay headspace? Can I vent? And she wanted to vent about her job. And I don't know how to listen and not try to fix stuff. And so I'm happy you guys shared your perspective, because it's like I want to be better at empathetic listening. But that day I actually didn't have the capacity, and I needed to know what that sounded like, or go through what that sounded like or looked like, so that I could understand if somebody called and asked to vent, because my sister Aria is really good at it. Like there's the day I called her and she was like, not right now, but I'll call you back later. So it's not like a no. It's like, let me deal with myself so that I could show up for you. And so I love the language that you guys all use. I really would like to be a part of something that changes the language in households so that people can show up and see people a little bit better, because the level of darkness I have been going through the last 2 to 3 years have been actually scary. And I've never been suicidal to where I'm like, oh, I want to hurt myself. Like, I don't want to stub my toe. So don't no part of me want to die or nothing like that. But with different, between circumstances and different curveballs that life has thrown at me, sometimes I do think like this is not like, this ain't no life worth living. But not like I want to die. That day when I got triggered, I'm just like, I don't want to die here. And to most people might think like my address, but it's like at the end of the day, with the illnesses that I have on my plate and the fact that I live most of my life for other people, I've been sitting and thinking that when I became a mom at 13, I also lost my best friend 2 weeks before that. And so my life has not been the same for a very, very long time. When I think back to what this last year has been like, I think about if something did happen to me, what difference would it even make? Because I've been in such a shitty place the last 2-3 years. And my mom and my sister are showed up for me, and Yemi, in terms of people that I immediately know that are able to, that could, because I'm very reasonable, because I know that if anybody else could have showed up, it would have been Paulette that like knew what was going on. And so it's just like when I think about that and I really think about the way that I've shown up for people, I just don't want to die in a shitty place, whether it's 2 months, 2 years, or 200 years. I don't want to be in this place anymore, because the culture is just not a culture that I want to partake in. I would rather do what I can to be a solution for it. And to me, it looks like planning an exit strategy that would allow me to live in a place that I can particularly feel free and take care of myself sufficiently without needing other people so much, but being accessible enough that if people want to show up or come see me, they can, and I'll be in a position to actually host them. But the life for me in America sucks. But I'm grateful for everything and everybody. I've just really had enough. I really want to go be in a place of peace somewhere, but not dead. I'm not talking about dying.
Well, that's a nice thing to hear. At least you're not planning on that part. Um, I think as a travel agent, I'm not. But I think when you find a place that you feel in your heart will make you feel safe, that you can afford, that you will feel comfortable in, and you will be able to relax and take that just take that pressure off so that you can breathe, so that you can get through a day and know that you've got through it as opposed to survive it. There's a big difference between survival and living. And even if it's basic living, that's better than survival. So to me, the options that you've been talking about sound perfect. And I think that you have to think to yourself, and that this is everybody, not just you, Coach K. This is
Mm-hmm.
everybody. I say this to every single person who could be listening to this now. If you are feeling lost, if you're feeling the pressure, if you're feeling like overwhelm, and that's a big word and it's a scary word, but overwhelm is just before burnout. Overwhelm is just before quitting. Overwhelm is just before you throw the towel in on your job, on your marriage, on your work, on your job, your life, career. It can be anything. But overwhelm is like this horrible, really tall skyscraper that is, you're trying to climb it with your fingernails. You know, that's what overwhelm feels like. And you reached overwhelm before this happened, you'd reached overwhelm a year ago. So this was just the icing on the cake, or as we English say, the straw that broke the camel's back. It becomes overwhelm when you cannot take even a morsel more to eat. You cannot take even a drink from a glass of water because it's too much work, too much effort, and that's overwhelm. And I believe that fear can drive you to overwhelm, and fear can also bring back the worst memories. The way the mind works with all the subconscious thoughts, all the really negative thoughts, that's when we get ourselves into, again, another English expression, we get our knickers in a twist. We get ourselves into such a position where you cannot see the wood for the trees. You cannot see a way out. You're like in a maze and everyone's locked up and gone home and you're still in the maze. And you're like, well, how do I get out of this? And the problem with you, and the problem with many people who are like you, who are leaders, who are people that have held down very serious jobs, people that are great problem solvers, people that are thinkers of, outside of the box thinkers, as I call them. This is a huge thing because suddenly you're finding yourself unable to fix yourself. And that's when you reach out. And thank God you did. And thank God you had all of your friends to reach out to. And this is why I say to people, have different friends, have lots of friends, but have different friends. Have people that you can call on, have people that you can chat to occasionally, have people that you might just be a text friend, but have all these different types of friends who have all these different skill sets. But the one skill set they must have is the ability to listen. And so I think you recognizing you were in overwhelm means that you were, I think, more aware than you realize. And I think that from my perspective and from everyone else that's spoken's perspective, we could hear it. So when people feel like they are literally hanging on. They're trying to be Spider-Man without the spider web. They're hanging onto the side of a building with their fingernails and trying to climb up or in or out or whatever. That's what it feels like. And I understand that when people get to that point, they need to have a guiding light. They need to have faith if they have faith. They need to have a friend if they have a friend. They need to have a voice that they can use. They need to be able to shout if they need to shout. They need to cry if they need to cry. But you need to be able to release that fear, that overwhelm. Otherwise, it consumes you. And that's when we end up in a very dark, dangerous place. And the people that I've spoken to that have gone too far, but fortunately have been found, or there's been a situation where people have had a breakdown and they just felt like there was no point. I've got no value. Would anyone even notice if I wasn't here? Those kinds of really subconscious negative thoughts. It's great when someone turns around and says, but I love you. I need you. I want you. You're mine. You're my friend. Why would you do that to me? How could you possibly think that the world would be better without you? You know? So those thoughts that you have, those dark, deep thoughts, we all have them. Nobody, if they're honest, hasn't had a day in their life where they've just felt complete, utter overwhelm. Whether it's childhood, whether it's school, whether it's relationships, whatever, we've all had overwhelm. But it's what we do with overwhelm that makes the difference. Whether we take action to find a solution or we take the wrong action, which is we go down a slippery slope of maybe substance, maybe drugs, maybe alcohol, maybe something to release the pressure. I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. It does. Technically, I had some of those thoughts, but like I said, I haven't been like I'm not suicidal, but I see why people think like that. I understand those feelings. I don't not to validate and say people should think like that, but those are real thoughts. Those are real feelings when you do feel unseen. Um, and I always like I joke about it. It's like I that's what makes me see people that are unseen so easily because I'm so used to playing the background. But having those thoughts, my mindset and being so self-aware because I love being self-aware. I just simply thought, well, if if my life has no value where I'm at, clearly my life ain't the problem. The environment is. And so that's what made me say I need to be in a safer environment where I'm valued more. And it's not that it's like I think that if I go somewhere else, these random strangers will value me. It's just I value me when I'm doing what I'd rather be doing anyway. And the truth is, I would rather be on an island, on a beach, getting the vitamin D that my body needs and not eating non-contaminated food and drinking non-pesticide type water because when I think about my health, it's not even a person outside of me thing. I think about my body is fighting me and it's really begging for freshness in every sense of the word. And so it's like being undervalued in the wrong environment means that everybody around me is cool. I can go because I don't actually want somebody to say they love me and then I sacrifice my happiness because of their love. I want to love me so much that I do what I'd rather do at this age because my kids are good and I feel like I've put in my time and now I just want to go out and live my dream.
Thank you. I'm reflecting on you're reaching out and I wanted to chime in and share that I think it was Charlie McKeesley. I'm not sure if the right pronunciation, but I remember writing this quote down, and he said something that's close about asking for help is not really, it isn't giving up. Actually, he said, I remember it. He said it's refusing to give up, and it's known that people who really ask for help is often viewed more competent and not less, because it shows that they're willing to learn, they're willing to heal, they're willing to take the first step. And I just wanted to say that, number one, that we on here are quite, um honored, that you chose to ask us for help, because that takes so much bravery to reach out and ask for help, because and so much courage, even for those that we are most close to, and just that simple act. And I think, of course, this not only does it build connection and trust, but it helps you to gain new perspectives, and turns this challenge into an opportunity for growth. And just listening to you is that you're one step closer. And as Paulette was just highlighting at the beginning, is just how do we navigate at the moment. And I think Ari said it, that you're loved. And so as we put that into action, is that we just, I know, just want you to know that the step that you have taken, for asking for a help, is refusing to give up, and we see that and we recognize it. And so the question is always, now, how, what kind of help and support, what does it look and sound like? What does support for you look and sound like at this
It look and
moment?
sound like this. Like literally, you ladies showing up for me today. It shows.
Mm,
So and giving me your honest feedback, because it's the final piece almost to my
mm,
layout, I guess, to a degree, when I think about it, because like you mentioning that I love talking on the phone, and like the talking like this, talking on audio rooms,
yes, yes.
unscripted conversations. I love helping people. It looks like this. And so you all showing up for me today, it allowed me to highlight the space and showing what it looks like, for me to launch my community and what my membership look like. Cause I've been talking to Paulette lately, and she's helping me strategize. And so she asked me, well, what does it mean? What do they get if they join a community? And I think about when Jay told me, he's like, no, it's not about the people, it's about you. And I'm like, technically, it's right. So I'm going to say this in my artist way, and you guys can let me know if, when I take you on this roller coaster of senses, if it makes sense and you kept up. So, um, the beauty of you three being the ones that are here today, um, when I think about community, I think about Jamaica, which is why I always mention Jamaica when I mention you being in Abu Dhabi, Julianne, because I always wear every single day my Jamaican bracelet, because I think of One Love, like the times that I've been to Jamaica, the
Mm,
interactions that I have and have had with the locals. I may do a story one day of me sharing what my journeys to Jamaica was like. But I know that you were born in that culture and you represent that. And so having your feedback means a lot to me as well, from as a spiritual perspective. Also, I'm looking to move closer to your side of the world. And so one of the reasons that I called you is because I know that you're not just an educator and my friend, you're the other person that I'm like, oh, this is my other sister from another mother, especially since because your daughter told you that you couldn't. I said it was. And so I plan on spending more time with you, being in closer time zones, because you have a really good alignment, and I know that the program you teach will be of benefit to both of us to partner up on certain things. So it looks like that. But the big thing is that it looks like this. I want to give people that decide to invest in the community. Number one is investing in me. If you invest in me, I'm able to invest in you. And so it looks like people making monthly contributions, coming, being a part of the conversation. And I'm going to probably continue to have conversations like this where I schedule with whoever I schedule with, so that I'm not on some sort of LinkedIn routine and feel bound by audience. I actually don't want to know what the audience want to say while I am talking to those that gave me that invested in me, you know. It looks like this type of intimacy, but not always these type of conversations. We're going to talk about other things and give other people an opportunity to be on the hot seat, because today I kind of put myself on the hot seat, which I never mind. But it looks like me being honest and vulnerable so that people can, where I can hold the space for people to be honest and vulnerable with themselves as well. But I'm going to attach sales and marketing to it, because Paulette is the one that helped me see that. What was the three, Paulette? It was sales, marketing, and something else was my hot button. And so while we're doing this, I'm going to also show people how to accelerate themselves. And so, like, an example is whenever what was it? You hit mute too fast.
Sorry, darling. Growth. How you grow.
Okay, and you said those. What did you call those? Sales, marketing, and growth were my who?
Well, they're your
my compasses.
Pillars. Pillars of who you are and what you want to do. And they're what you're good at, and they're what you're qualified in. And so if you go back to the things that you know you can do and do well, then that means that you're going to be feeling that much more confident, and you'll be able to help other people from being in that position.
Oh, I get fulfillment from it.
Yeah. And they
it's
will
not
too.
like work to me.
It's a sword. You get fulfillment, but so do they. They gain from it because they get your expertise, but you gain from it because it actually fills your cup up. You know, you both, your boat or your jug or however you want to word it. But basically, it's the same with therapy. People can't believe that when I'm helping people, my cup gets filled up. It doesn't empty. If I gave too much, sure, eventually it would get empty. But the key to helping somebody in a way that helps you too and makes you feel good is a win, because everybody wins. Make sense?
Oh, 100%. I just like your articulation of it. But yeah, that's the thing. Being in community with me looks like sales, marketing, and growth. And so I don't know if anyone was able to do it today, but the things that help me will help everybody. And so I like the StreamYard platform for these particular audio room conversations, because I can only have up to so many people on the stage. And so as the community grows, it gives room for like incentive invites, because it's not like I want to have 40 people on stage here, but this would be like more of members only content. Although I'll still do like free stuff on the Clubhouse platform, so that it's not always about that. I want to show people how to grow. And so it looks like when people have opportunities to be on stage in the future, to like hook your YouTube up. And if people don't have a YouTube to hook up, I want to like say, okay, well then let's do a class on that. So within the community, I'm going to do classes on whatever it is my people need or want to learn that I'm able to teach, but I'm also going to open up my virtual classrooms to where if it's not the best thing for me to teach or I can't, then other community members will have the opportunity to go in and teach it themselves. It's not a community that's just based on me. I'm looking to have it like with everybody this way. I get the community I need, and I'm able to take care of myself in a place that's good for my health, because this right here feels like home to me. For me, home is not a particular place. It's just like feeling safe. And so if I do it this way, God willing, the YouTube will go out and it will reach, a lot of people, and anyone that's on here that's sharing theirs, that algorithm should pull, and we all should be able to not just get our cups full, but get our wallets a little fuller from helping people in this way, that people that are not in the community and can't pay anything with it being on YouTube, they get it for free. They get to hear the language, because the thing is, I don't want to have to go away from my community to understand what this life meant to me. But if I could go away and teach them while it was imperative that I left, because it's like the verbiage I hear around me will kill me some days. And it's just like, I want to, I guess, pioneer what it looks like, that like the beauty or the power of new words and or an environment. Not necessarily that people should go where I go and do what I do. It's just like, I just want people to get used to hearing and trying some stuff new. And so sharing it and being a part of it the way that you guys are today is how to help me. It's just like this is what I needed. It wasn't um about money per se, but a couple of y'all have like really monetarily helped me. So it's like sometimes it is, but I appreciate all the different ways that you guys have showed up for me. Like, you guys have been great, and this is what I need. This is what it looks like. It looks like this here today, just coming through, sharing this link. Hopefully, somebody else will hear it and it will make an impact on them. And if you guys want to, like, when I saw my friend's post on Facebook and I want to reach out to them, I'm going to drop some stuff on my YouTube links, a couple of AI apps that helped me get through this, because it wasn't like I was just so strong. I went to therapy. I use an app that I give out in the community that helps people sort out their thoughts. But I'm going to share that app on the comments today, as well as an app that I use sometimes for positive affirmations and meditations. And so I do all the things because sometimes I need all the help. So I pray and I do things that I know are good for me with intention. And so if you guys have any tips that you feel will help people that's going through, or if you've been through a depression and like things that's helped you, can you share those?
I'll say this because I just kind of just been listening to and just learning. I will say that I think that for me, I can't speak for everybody else, but for me, and I know this is something that you and I talk about often, because I think sometimes we don't realize that the experiences that we have had, and speaks to like your point about like there's been multiple things that you're doing to change your mindset, because what you're talking about is people's mindsets having to change, because like you can change your like behaviors and tasks and do all the things, but if like your mind never changes about who you are, what your why is, like all those things, if your mind never changes about that, you're going to recreate another scenario. And most times we create the thing we're fearful of if we don't have tools to not think the way that we already were, if that makes sense. I feel like I just like complicated.
No, No.
But we'll create the thing that we were fearful of because we don't have the tools that we need to change our mindset and perception of what we have experienced. And so for me, that's something that I had to like pay attention, like, oh, wait. And this came with therapy. This came with my own community, like spiritually, because for me, it's big. It's going to be really difficult to have a conversation with me and I not talk to you about who you are in Christ. That's just going to come out because that's something that has helped me, not in a religious way, but in a...
Shit.
You lost this?
No.
Not in like a religious way, but just in like a relationship way of what are you finding your identity in? Because sometimes we find our identity in all these other things. And when those things fall through, then we think we failed. When in all actuality, it's just you're identifying with the wrong stuff because your value's not tied up in all these outside things. It's tied up in you, you know, where like what's your internal value. And that's really where your like safety comes from. And that's something I'm even working through in therapy is like, how do I, because safety is huge for me because I grew up not really feeling safe. So, and I was around a lot of unsafe people that were making unsafe decisions. So how do I now as an adult, knowing who I am, create the thing that I'm looking for from inside of myself, instead of passing my power to anybody else. And so I think that if I had a tip for somebody, I would say like start in you because you can go all the places, do all the things, make all the money, and you will still think exactly the way you were and recreate the same unsafe environment because I've done that. And recreated the same unsafe environment I claimed I did not want to experience because I didn't deal with like my internal, like my inside safety and my internal peace needed to be developed. Like I had to sit down for a second so that I could really look at like, okay, what is it that I find important? What does Ari like? Like what, God, who did you say I am? Like, how did you create me to be? Like, and really listen and hear those things. And that like really, really, really helped me. And I had to get around people who were thinking that way too, because otherwise I was just going to be very, very negative if I surrounded myself with majority of the people who were also didn't know who they were or also didn't know where they was going or also like, I can't stand life, you know, like you have to, the variety that Paulette was talking about, variety of people. It's to keep you positive because otherwise you will find yourself situationally depressed just based off of who you're with.
Yeah.
All the time. So that was just something that came up for me.
That's exactly what I believe happened, down to the T. And I'm not even without saying a name. I'm saying this to paint the picture so people understand how deep it is, not to make anybody feel away because the person I'm about to talk about don't even know what LinkedIn is. And so when that door unlocked with the thing with the trigger with me, right? It took me back that somebody that said they love me all the time really try to force and be like, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I had to ask this person, what do that mean? Because I had to ask myself, why do I feel like I spend my time with people that I love that can make me feel unsafe? And ultimately it came down to this person that was supposed to protect me tried to kill me before I was 8. And I remember it like it was yesterday. He thought it would be funny to have me walk into Lake Michigan while we was up in Milwaukee up there. And he swam out and was dog pedaling. And I got into the lake with my clothes on, like some blue jean pants. And so when I walked off the sand part, I almost drowned. And he and the adult with us, like, I don't even think he got in trouble. And the thing is, I grew up beyond that part trying to get that person to like me. And then it took until maybe a week ago that I confronted that person and was like, why do you keep saying this? What do you miss? What do you like? Because I don't have any good memories of my childhood with you. All of my memories of my childhood with you was me trying to either get you to like me or you doing some stuff that made me feel unsafe. And so I had to not just come to get to the root of where this trauma had derived from, but I also had to like you said, remember, what do I actually want? What was my actual plan? Not what do other people want? What will make other people feel comfortable? Like, what do I actually want? And when I thought about who I am and what I wanted and how I want to do it, it's like I really just want to be there, taking care of me and talking to y'all like this until I'm able to see you in person again. But and I know that doing it the way that I'm supposed to would allow me to see people in person for a long time because physically I feel fine. But it's just the environment that I've placed myself in, not and not that the people around me um are bad. It's just they're not in alignment with where I am spiritually in the journey that I told God I wanted to be on. And so you're right, I do have to be in community with more people like that and just somewhere else that, like you said, like, what do you want? Not what do not nobody else want. What do you want? And so I'm happy that you touched on that because I wanted to take it back to so people can get to the root of the problem. And then future looks like removing people and getting to who you are. And so I like both.
I think we lost Paulette.
I can see her behind the stage, but her device is not connected. And then Judy Ann, I don't think she's able to talk. She sent me a message that she's driving back, but she's listening. Um, but she's still here. But
But
no,
but I love this conversation. I think there's a lot of things we figure out sometimes just by talking it through. It doesn't have to be a right or a wrong. I think a lot of times as humans, we make everything got to be right or wrong. And sometimes you just need to be able to say some stuff out loud and talk through it. Like it doesn't have to be like a one thing, one size fits. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say.
no, I know exactly what you're saying because just having a safe space to talk, a lot of time God would let you talk it out through that, just having that safe space to talk. You answer your own questions.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice and it's confirming when you have people that are in alignment that's like, oh yeah, I see that too. Cause then it's like I'm not the only one that see this. You know what I'm saying? It's not it's more of a confirmation than a validation that pushes you through when you're around the right people.
Yep, and
Have
that's
the right people in your ear at least.
that's a huge difference, what you just said. Like, because most people are looking for validation instead of just confirmation, because that validation is how we get so messed up most of the time. That's big. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like having conversations like this. It's like, dude, come on. This feels regular. It almost feel like old school. I like I'm doing a lot of talking today, but when I picture it in the future when y'all really like loosen up just a little bit more. Like remember when you could have the 4-way or 3-way conversations on the phone with your girlfriends after school type?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
like that's the vibe. Just to be able to give a safe place for people to talk. That's aesthetically pleasing.
Can you hear me, Kimberly?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say that knowing who your safe people are is something that people make a lot of mistakes with. So people tell their warts and all stories to somebody who they think is their safe space, and then they find out that it's broadcast around the nation. And that is scary. So the important thing is to make sure that, number one, that your safe space, which is your people that you have in your corner, that you know you can go to, that you can trust, and that it's private and it's not going to be, spread like rumors, is really important, because I think people make that mistake. They forget that we are, you know, we're human. People like to talk, and unfortunately, sometimes people speak your truth, then it's not yours. It's not theirs to tell, it's yours. So know who your safe space is what I'm saying. The next thing is, talking is therapy. That is what most therapy is. Yeah, there's art therapy and there's all different types. But fundamentally, if you're able to speak, and speaking comes to you as easy as it does to us lot on this group here today, then what I would say is that we're a good example of how easy it is to just gel, because the one common denominator is you.
I
But
agree.
do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you
Yeah.
see, the thing that when you don't have that safe space and you have to create that safe space, I say, if you go to church and you've got some people that you talk to at church on a regular basis and you get to know them and you feel safe with them, then they could be your safe space. But the problem is you need to know them well, because you don't want them taking your issues, your problems, your dilemmas, your financial problems, or anything else into church and telling the congregation. That's not me saying that that would happen, but it's a possibility if you don't know the people. My
You know,
mum missed her bus stop because she was earwigging to a conversation in front of her, and the conversation was about this guy who was sleeping with this woman, and the husband found out, and the guy jumped out the window, and it was a rattle carry on. And my mum couldn't get off at her stop because she had to find out how it all finished, because she was so invested in this business of someone else's. And then what happens is she misses her bus stop. And then the woman says, I'll have to wait till next week's episode to see what happens. And my mum was furious because she'd missed her stop. She's going to have to get a different taxi back home now. It's going to cost her probably about 10 quid to get home. But because she was so nosy. By nature, people are nosy. By nature, people are interested in other people's business. So all I'm saying is, choose your people safely and smartly. Choose them hopefully from friends you've had for a while. Colleagues at work are great, but make sure that they're real proper friends, because you do not want your private business being discussed around the coffee machine next week and being like my mum's gossip for this woman was having.
that's
So that's
hilarious.
the part that I find really important as a message, is
Or, you know,
find your tribe.
the thing is, well, that's the whole thing about building a community. I'm not looking to go to work or church for friends. I go to both for different purposes, but I'm not looking to go to either right now, to be honest. Um, my calling at this moment for me is in the community, because that's where it's at. I'm excited. I'm excited about teaching my class again. There you go. You back. I'm excited about teaching my class again, because when it comes to friends, I'm cool with just talking to you guys. I don't really need a bunch of people to tell my business to, because I'm getting really a lot better at talking to God. I'm looking to get my class out because the community, I mean, not the community, but the class allows me to develop a relationship based on integrity versus me having an expectation of who someone is. I'm just looking to build community, and that from that I'll determine who I want to be my friends. But I'm not really worried about that part right now. It's just like accepting people for who they are and being in being in co-creation with God. That's gonna feel that need for love or help or whatever. Not help, but that little piece. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
think, and I think sometimes too, we come into relationships with people, whether it's work, school, church, like, and even though we are the church, so that's a building.
Yeah.
I have to say that because that bugs me. What we've done to the Lord is just horrible. But
Yeah,
anyway,
there's so many people have church hurt, including myself, and so it's like
which actually is people hurt because who's at the building is people.
it's the people, yeah. So it's like I'm not running to them heathens for friends.
It's people hurt, and you got people everywhere because you still got people at your job or at school or in any of the other places that can hurt you as well. But when we go into spaces with people and it's supposed to be like a spiritual space, our expectations change.
Yeah.
And because our expectations change, then it's easier for people to disappoint us or to not live up to like kind of what we were thinking in our head would happen because we're in this space for these specific reasons. You should at least know how to, and that's not the case because everybody is still learning no matter where they at. Everywhere you go.
I was gonna say perception come into play with that because
very much so.
With expectation comes perception of what
very
you
much
think
so
versus what they think in the first place.
What that looks like. But I was gonna say just understanding that like when you meet people, everybody is for different things. Like everybody's not gonna be, they're not meant to be your best friend. Like
exactly.
I mean, Jesus you got the 12 and then you had the 3. Like that's real.
Look, that's why I'm trying to have these 11 to 10 to 11 people dinner parties. I'm going so far away that 20 people don't want to or can't show up.
Yeah, and it's just like I don't think that anything is intended for us to not have balance with it. I think everything is there should be some type of harmony with what you're doing.
So I got one, knowing your boundaries. Because that's where my intimate dinner party thing came up. It's like I know how many people Jesus had that when he got taken out. And so as a female, I'm gonna lower that number.
Kim. It's not literal, my Lord.
I'm just saying I feel confident in keeping my eye on 10 people.
Oh my goodness.
I think that as much as I was making a statement there, I didn't mean it to be quite as literal. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is about just making sure that the people you choose are the right people to vent at or to tell your innermost thoughts. But the other thing,
why are they in your life? Like some people are really only there for a very short season. Like that's all they're supposed to be there for. And where I feel like I have made the most mistakes is because people who were only supposed to be there for a little while, I tried to hold on to them longer. And then it just went left because they weren't supposed to.
There's a saying, isn't there? Some people come into your life for a season. Some people come into your life for a reason. And some people come into your life for love. And I think that that's so true of everything we all do. But the key to most things for me is it always comes back down to the same things, and that is honesty, authenticity, truth. But I don't know, and this is something that people can think about, go away and ponder over. People cannot make a fair judgment on a situation if they don't know you and haven't had a history of knowing you for years, because they don't know what you've been through. They don't know your journey. They don't know the who, the what, the how. And so when you're in therapy and people just walk in the door and you kind of like starting from scratch, and you might ask a couple of questions, 2 or 3 questions, to try and get them to loosen up a little bit. And then you're in the situation where you say, right, so what's your main reason for being here? And then that's a very much a clinical discussion. When we're talking about you're talking about a group of people now, And if you're talking about a community, you get the right community together, you're going to create enough people that there will be contacts within that community that people feel a certain connection to. And then that connection will drive who they go to again within the community where they feel safe, right?
Mhm.
So you have to understand that if this community is going to grow and be successful, everybody brings something different to the party. Everybody's bringing, you know, their life, their baggage, their rucksack of crap that they're bringing. And as a consequence, that rucksack makes everybody different because everybody's got their own unique rucksack. And everybody's unique rucksack makes them feel a certain kind of way in a certain kind of time over a certain kind of situation. So we cannot, with our hands on our hearts, judge anybody else or support anybody else or guide anybody else based on a 15-minute meeting. All you can ever do is use common sense, use heart and love, and faith if you have it, and just pure friendship. And I believe that that is 9 times more than they had before they joined the community, because that's one of the reasons that communities exist, is because the common goal and the common denominator is all of you. It's the collective. And it doesn't mean that all of you go out for dinner together and all of you meet up every Thursday night. We're not AA. We're not an AA group. We are a group of people that will be from all over the world, from all different backgrounds, with all different rucksacks of crap on their backs, with all different life's experiences. But they'll pour into each other, and from that, people will feel a certain kinship towards others.
Yeah.
And that's a way of your community serving others as well. It will become the place that they feel safe. It
Yeah.
will become their safe space. And if they say, I'd like a conversation off the record, a private conversation, that's not aired on one of your shows. That's something you can arrange privately and you can deal one-to-one with them. But generally speaking, the questions that I find through my mental wellness cafe, through children's anxieties rooms, and through general conversations, most people are going through the same level of yuck at the same time, right?
Yeah.
They're all going through it. So all we're
Yes.
looking at doing is working out which one can help which person at which time to the best of our ability. And that, I think, is going to be an interesting part of your journey and with this community. I mean, if it works and it works as well as I hope it does, it's
But
the sort of thing that could be replicated.
the beauty and the objective is for it to be replicated so that I don't have to be the person for people to need when they have a situation, because the goal is for them to replicate what I'm doing, and then I also have the tools and the affiliations to pass down the tools that I'm using, so it's not like this is a me only thing. Also, we're going to use multiple platforms because I understand like everything don't work for everybody. Like I'm looking forward to you guys when you have a chance taking a class. I'm going to start offering it on Saturdays, and I'll just do like some virtual exercises, because my classes are all about people creative ways that I use the book, and some of them I came up with myself. The ones online I came up with myself. The ones that I'm going to do by paper, I got out of like a kid's self-love book, but I use it on adults. But the thing is, people are telling me who they are, so it tells me what's needed and how to show up. But the other cool thing is when you mentioned earlier about like telling your business, I don't have no friends but before y'all, so I don't really have anything that I'm ashamed of. And so the cool thing about how I'm doing this is just like today, where I'll be telling my own business because I'm finally at a place, and this is the beautiful part of being in alignment spiritually, that shame is such an unnecessary sin, and I've came into myself to the point that I'm not embarrassed about anything that I did, because embarrassment of things that I went through that were completely out of my control played a part in um and in the mental space that I've been the last 3 years, 2 3 years since I've been in Houston. And so um I don't mind to do this, to talk about what I want to talk about, because it takes the load off so many to say, damn, I thought I was going, okay, well, let me just go ahead and get my testimony out, because at the end of the day, I know this is something that God got me through. And so I don't care what people think that wasn't a part of that process, because the people that that assisted me and held my hand during that particular process is on the stage. That's why I specifically didn't do this for an audience today, and I'm going to leave it to watch the replay, because although I appreciate the likes, shares, and comments, their opinions at the end of the day don't matter. I hope that they can save somebody else. But if someone don't like a piece of my journey, that's their problem, not mine.
People are really hi everyone, people are really searching for deep connection and authenticity, and so any group, any form of community connection that allows people to reach out to others that they can trust, that they both can give and receive some form of benefit, whether it may be socially or emotionally or for work. It will be something that attracts, because there's a whole group of people looking for a community that values deep, authentic connection.
You want to know something even sweeter, Judy? I,
Yes.
I'm so excited about being living proof of this whole concept, because I've been documenting. I haven't been intention. I've been intentionally and unintentionally documenting everything, because I've just been journaling a lot because I like writing. Um, Part of where I'm going, because I'm saving where I'm actually going for later to announce or whatever. But when I was looking at where I'm going, and I started looking at the flights and the reality of how to manifest and make all this stuff happen that I've been telling people for a long time, um, when I'm looking up the flights, I see this 9 hour layover in Abu Dhabi. And so part of being in a community like this is I can go to where I'm going, and while in Abu Dhabi for 9 hours, I know exactly who I'm calling to say, pick me up.
Amen.
So this isn't about
Amen.
just building online connections. The more important part, because I want to show people it's safe to switch your environment, that it's okay. And that it can all work out better than you expected, because sometimes different environments work in our favor, especially when we go with like good intentions. And so I feel strongly to say that I'm going to meet you in person, and that I'm going to go see Paulette in person, so that people see that this
Definitely,
is not just
definitely.
about an online thing. Like Ari is on here. Last Thanksgiving was one of the best Thanksgivings I had. Now I did have another Thanksgiving back in 2018, roughly, where my mom, my sister, my nephew, and my sister friend came to see me. They all came down to Texas. But this one was different, because Ari and her husband and the entire household, not only did they came down, Ari cooked. Ari cooked so much food. And I was just, her and her husband are the two people that when I'm at like my absolute low is like her. Can I tell y'all business just a tiny bit, Ari? It won't be done.
I don't care. That's fine.
But her husband, who's my cousin, Ari's like she's my cousin's wife, but her husband is like my brother. I replaced my brother. So her husband's my brother. She's my sister and they just have to deal with it. So he met her while visiting me in Dallas. And so it's I don't know the true God connection of it, but it was like it means so much to me that he came to see me, and while he came to see me, he met her, because when he met her, that was like God sending me a sister, and he got a wife. So it was like so cool. And I told her, and I'm like, I'm sorry, girl, you stuck with both of us.
I love you. He's so funny.
But since I've been here, you guys have came to see me, and like Judy Ann was saying, I know that when my son got paralyzed, like people was saying they was praying for me, but to keep it 100, like I was so pissed. I'm like, your prayer is supposed to be between you and God. Like, where are these people that I show up for, you know? And so, when people say they know me, it's kind of like, if you knew me before my baby got hurt and you ain't seen her talk to me since, Lord Jesus, please don't think you know me. These is some of the stuff that I feel like I need to get out when this go out, because
get them out.
It's always funny, and it's a little bit of a trigger when people that don't know me say they do. So if I'm going to put this out about the community, because I'm really not going in private community to be in community with everybody. And that's going to be a little bit of a trigger for somebody. And I want to say I don't care.
The thing as well, Coach K, I feel, I don't know, I guess I don't even like calling you Coach K, because it doesn't seem right anymore. I just like you're like just Kimberly. But the thing that I feel is, because everybody's rucksack is different, right? Everybody needs to be and have permission granted to them by themselves, not by anyone else, by themselves, to empty that out. And I always say to people, adults and kids, if you imagine a game of Jenga and you're pulling one brick out at a time, right? And you get away with one brick and you tell somebody one of your truths and it was okay and you coped, and then you pull another brick out and the same thing happens. But what happens eventually is you're going to pull a brick out and the whole bloody lot falls down, right? When that happens, you got to make sure that there are people there with their hands underneath you to pick you up and help you rebuild it. And you've been through life-changing situations and looked around and gone, well, where are they? Where are my army? Where is my merry men? Where are my crew? Right? And they've not shown up. I relate to that because I can relate to it from family, I can relate to it from friends. But I can also say that those that do frequently. And you don't need 1,000. People think you need to have, like I said, an army of friends. You don't. 1 or 2 really good friends is better than 10 crappy friends, because the crappy friends are going to let you down. They're going to say they're going to do things and they're not. They're going to say they're going to be there and they're not going to turn up. So when you talk about your friends, the friendships that you're going to make are going to be on this community. They're going to be vetted. The people that come here are going to be vetted. They're going to be quality people that want to be part of something that's very special. And I think that once you've proved the concept and you've said to people, look, We're going to let each person knock their Jenga down, but we're going to also all be there to pick up a brick and put it back together again. That is the best feeling in the world for anybody, to know they're not sitting next to a big pile of bricks on their own. Do you understand?
Yes.
The metaphor is that you can't do it alone. And the idea is that we try and get that concept to people that you do need humans, you do need interaction. And it doesn't, I mean, COVID proved to us it doesn't need to be face to face. Nice if it can happen, but if it doesn't happen yet or for a while, that's not the end of the world. You've got people that care. You've already won because you've got people that care. What we do next is, how do they care? How do they show up? And I'm going to tell you this, people need to be taught. People don't actually know how. People have forgotten what it means to be a support network, to be there for you, to be, and that's not me excusing people.
No, that's what this is all about. Like,
Absolutely
I
true.
only teach life. Like, the niches are going to go out to the people in the community. I'm not going to specialize in everything. I'm only teaching life and lifestyle, because the way that it's already mapped out for this community to grow, I'm really trying to get, like, as people support, I'm open to support, but I'm going to be, going through and inviting like the top 100 that specialize in whatever it is they specialize in. Like, you're the best of the best in the world, because I'm going to connect with people all over the world. And so, but I want people to come and show up and be their best self, because as I see where they can grow, because that's just how my brain operates. My brain really does operate in sales, marketing, and growth. And I love that you articulated it to me, because it made stuff make sense. And I found myself around people that actually are afraid to grow. And so I want to teach how I push past that fear and give other people that's pushed past that fear the opportunity to share. That's my whole life lessons and life stories, so that people, and the point of this conversation today is teaching people how to talk. When I get to opening up about a lot of my journey, is about the importance of words. It's not necessarily me putting you on an obstacle course, because sometimes pulling the honest words out of people feel like getting your soul ripped up out your heart. It's way tougher than an obstacle course some days, being real with yourself and looking in the mirror. But the beauty is having that here and doing this with the cameras off, allow people, they can set their little mirror in front of the computer when they talking and have that conversation with themselves, and they have a safe space to cry, and no one has to see it. And like you said, the other thing about it is, like with the other platforms, not everything is going to be like this. We're going to be have virtual class and virtual offices. And so, those moments will be private for community only. And so I believe, like, this background layout of what I see as my board, I call it my boardroom, the vision room, like, things and millionaires will manifest themselves, because if the way that is going out, even at this rough draft first start, it's a great reflection of how I feel about me. Like, that room, expensive champagne taste, and it's not about getting people to overlive their budget. It's understanding what quality of life really looks like. And it might not look like, because that's like a metaphor. These glasses actually don't drink like that, but I might drink purified water out of copper glasses, because that's just a lifestyle that makes you love your life. I want to teach people how to get that, like that heaven, what it looks like to curate your environment, whatever environment you may be in, to be like your own heaven on earth, wherever you at.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think that like yeah, I don't know. I'm happy y'all showed up for me today because I've been really I can't get this. I have to have other bodies, other beings to get something like this about a community out, and I like to have the conversations because I want to weave the people that's important to me through it. Like I feel like my artistry and community is weaving together people and technology. And so when people, if it's for me, that one of the other things that took so long for me to get here was not understanding technology was kind of holding me back too.
You
And
just figured out your tagline, but go ahead.
wait, say it.
Weaving together people and
Oh,
technology.
oh yeah, I did an art illustration about it too, but let me write it down. Wait until y'all see the photo shoot concept. I shared in a private thing. I really thought about this quite a bit. And you guys are like articulating the thoughts that I've been having in terms of what's next. Weaving together. Oh, I love this. And it's so in alignment with everything I've been talking about.
And you know something? It's going to help an awful lot of people because podcasting, whether it's done the traditional way or via YouTube or via StreamYard or however it's done, if it can get to people's ears and at that moment in time they have a problem and there's other people who they would deem successful because they're on some sort of podcast and they are talking some kind of sense that relates to them, then they're going to take that as a win. So what you've done today might have been you getting rid of and venting your truth, but actually you've also given other people the opportunity to do the same. So well done, because it takes courage and guts to do it, and you've just done it. And I think it's really important that that message goes forward and we build on what you've done and we make good on our promises and we create something that's really very magical, very special, and helps so many.
I'm very excited. Like I'm very excited about everything and whatever this new beginning is gonna look like. I know it won't look like this last chapter. I know that.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen to that. Yeah, we're not looking backwards, dear.
No, I mean, let's just be clear. I'm very, 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 very grateful. and I want to make sure God know that. Very grateful for all of it. But and it also showed me the people that is most meaningful to me to help in this season because I really want the style of teaching that I'm putting out is with the thought in mind of nobody left behind, not just no child, because there's a lot of adults that were left behind. And sometimes the adults that were left behind are expecting more out of the children than they know themselves. And so I really don't want to leave anybody behind. And so I'm going to take the system of my beliefs and what I've put together with Paulette came up with this idea of edutainment. Well, I've seen some stuff on it now, so it's like it's really a thing. But my style of educating is edutainment, but I'm able to work it with anybody anywhere. But I'm gonna get with Judy Ann because Judy Ann, you pretty much specialize in that, don't you?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
my area, yes.
So I'm looking to collaborate with Judy Ann, and so that it shows the power of international partnership and not just help. And once whatever we put together to get this out, then we can extend that to other members in the community. If it will help with whatever programs they have, then they can partner with her as well, and then they do them a partnership. So that's how the community could continue to feed itself. with different people, and it's just like effortless marketing and things of that nature. Like I want to do this with intention to pull the algorithms, and so instead of uh me setting up a show and have people come live at the audience, I just want us to push it all out at the same time. And I think that'll do more. That'll be a better boost than the distraction of comments.
I think it'd be good. I think your goal is to keep it positive. And so I think that sometimes people don't always know how to keep their comments positive. And while also you have to prepare for the naysayers, like that's gonna come. Like it comes with it. But I think that you controlling when you have to see it and when and where is also like that's your agency.
Yeah.
So I feel like today is you getting your agency back. Like that's why I think you thought we were like uncomfortable. It's like, no, we want you to talk. We want you to talk so you get your agency back and your confidence and just keep going.
Yeah. I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. This was a really great show, and um I'm happy that you guys had the time to I'm happy that you all had the time to show up for me, especially those two and other time zones. Paulette said she had to go to bed. And so she sends her love, told it to say tell everybody goodbye. But no, I needed this, and I just needed to get it out because there's no PowerPoint. Well, actually, I did do a PowerPoint, but there wasn't a PowerPoint to get to say all this. And I wanted to be, I'm okay with being a living example of what it looked like. And I'm okay with putting my vulnerability out there because those that need to resonate will resonate, because I guess this is what it means to, when Jay said that the community is built on me. It's like, I can't go wrong if I'm talking about myself. I ain't telling nobody else's business.
No, that's how people learn. You learn sharing your stuff. That's also how you heal. So it's all good. You got this.
Oh, you're so awesome. Well, do you guys have any closing remarks? I don't know where they just came from. It's Judy. I just had a out of nowhere Jamaican feel like accent come out my throat.
No, no, no. It's the heart. The heart is with us, and we appreciate the love.
It might be that
I
I can see myself in a bathing suit already.
no, no. That's very important. I I was thinking just now that as we think about reaching out and support, it builds connection as God designed us as a community to be. We're not designed to be living solely on our own, whether it may be prosperous or whether it may be whether we are able to do it independently. We're just built for community. And for anyone listening, or just a reminder to us who are here, that asking for help is a sign of strength and connection and wisdom, and it shows or it proves that the person value growth more than pride, and people usually respond with respect and not with judgment. So if there's anyone listening to the program, or any one of us reflecting, um, connection is being authentically you, is sharing when you need help and reaching out, because then the next step is easier, which is bridging and finding out your whys, as Ari said, and then moving on to making valued decision that allows you to center yourself. And center ourselves means center ourselves with God and purpose.
I love it. Ari, you got any final words?
I don't. I think it's been summed up well.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody that came through. Paulette, I appreciate you hanging in there as long as you could. Ari, thank you for popping up, and Judy Ann. Ari, I got to get your new schedule so that I can make sure I have some schedule with you included, because I always love your medical, your spiritual, and your sisterly perspective. It's such an amazing combination. And
Okay, no problem.
do you see it?
Love you.
And Judy Ann, you guys are gonna end up meeting in person, because Judy Ann is really my other sister. And I'm like, I told you this morning, I said, I know God got 2 more siblings. I don't know who my other brother is yet, but
Judy Ann, where I want to come visit. So that's on my list right
I'm
now.
waiting.
I know.
so Ari,
Definitely.
here's the thing. Judy Ann is not gonna be far from Disney Abu Dhabi, and I just feel like since we got cheated from childhood, we need to go to Disney.
No, for real though. No, for real.
I'm thinking the perfect way for us to make up for that is a trip to Disneyland in Abu Dhabi, because I heard it's being made for adults.
Definitely. And you know, when the UAE or Abu Dhabi does things, they do things big.
Yeah. I would love to see that. That's on my list.
Uh,
It is. And I'm gonna
Definitely.
take your advice, and I'm going to try to be in planning of that instead of like waiting. So
Yeah, exactly.
Amen.
Well, the beauty of this too is that with Judy Ann being there, that means that I got to do a big launch, and so I'm just gonna like keep building from now until launch date, and I'm gonna talk to you guys about that within the community, to where whatever it is that people is contributing, like when I do it, I would like to like have a little highlight of everybody, to launch with it. But if it launches right, that would be so dope to be able to plan a trip to be like, okay, we're going to Abu Dhabi. That the first live can be there.
Yes,
that would
yay.
be amazing. I think
Wouldn't it? And it's like,
should
bring
do
your
that.
brand to Abu Dhabi.
You
Like,
should do
that's
it.
the tagline.
Yes. I'm here for that. Yep.
Yep. Yes. We're speaking it into being.
Oh no, I'm writing this down. I'm writing this down, and there will be a plan. When you get a moment, Judy Ann, can you give me the do you know the when they're projected to be done? Because I know it's not finished yet. I wanted to do something in Dubai anyway, and so I know Abu Dhabi's the big brother.
Yes, it is. It is the big brother. It is it is the capital. It is the one to be.
It was Ramadan the last time I was there, so I didn't really get to experience it. I mean, I experienced the discounts, which was really nice.
Yes. And the cuisine.
Yes, that part. And the shopping. The stores,
Yes. Yep.
the stores are open. The cuisine was, I could eat everything because everything was tailored to my preferred diet type. And so yes, Abu Dhabi was everything, even with 70% of the city closed down. So I can only imagine what it's like when it's running at 100%.
Yes. And they have amended the time for most things are now open. So yes, you're spot on.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna log off of here. You can give me a call whenever you need to.
Definitely. We are coming out. We are